Okay guys, I'm back here and working on the 64 Impala project. Give you a update on this quarter panel situation. This will be update, I don't know, I forgot, I lost count, but we'll call it update quarter panel from hell update 2. Anyways, I've got it pretty closed up right here. I was able to weld from the inside underneath, one spot weld here and one here. I got it as close together as I could here. That's probably a little bit more of a gap than what I'd like there, but I think I'm gonna have to live with that and work with that. Now, as we go down here, this is where it gets wider back here. So what I did is I cut it right here, and I may go up a little further, and then I'm gonna put some clamps and close that up, and then I guess I'll just fill this in up in here when I do the welding on it, and go from there. I think that's where I'm gonna have to go with it. It come up a little high right here on this area. I like the way it fit here. This is pretty even here across here, but for some reason it came up a little high. So I decided to pull my trim that goes around here. I think they call this the belt line trim or something like that comes from the door. Actually, it comes all the way across from the door up here on top, and then across the top of this quarter panel, and then you have this piece that goes around the roof up to the windshield trim. So I was starting to mock that up, and like I said, for some reason it come up a little high there, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to work with that, but I'm thinking that that's pretty close where it's gonna go. I have to pull out the other piece here. I have to get up in the attic, pull the other piece. I think it overlaps over this, and then of course your roof rail trim comes down. I don't know if it comes all the way down to here. I don't remember, it's been so long, but it's going to take a little work and finessing to get that to go, because I kind of put it up and pushed on it. I can't hold the camera and push on it at the same time, but so that's at that end is where it's driving me crazy right in here where it comes around the corner. You can see that there. It's supposed to cover that, and I guess that's about as much as it's going to cover, right at the edge there. And of course, and it comes around the corner like that. But what's really weird is that this, like I said, this side's been weird from the start. If you can tell, that ridge right there, that's where this trim was before, because that's your paint. The paint come up to here and it stopped, and this car's been painted I don't know how many times, several times, but there's your line there. Well, that nowhere near comes up to that line anymore. So I don't know what happened there. I would think if you look at that, if you line that up on top of there, then you have this big gap here in the bottom. I know this here maybe needs to come up a little bit from inside. I kind of pushed up on it from inside, and it did come up some, but there's the difference. I mean, when you set this trim right, it's kind of hard to get, yeah, right there. That's the difference between that line and that was up there. Of course, it's going to be all painted again, but I'm just kind of curious how that ended up like that. I mean, the quarter panel is not any lower than, I don't think, you know, this ain't gonna go up anymore too much, and then you'd be up at a line here at the door, and this is all even. My body lines match down here, and this other body line here, you know, it matches. So that's just another deal, but I'm not going to worry about it if if I can get this as long as it covers that area, then that'll be good, you know. This side, when I took this side off, I really chewed this metal up here on this end. That was before I knew what I was actually doing. I could see the spot welds, but I was, you know, there's 3 pieces of metal welded together. You got this outside piece, the quarter panel flange here, and then you got an inside piece that's all smashed together. So you have 3 layers of spot welds. It's probably too dark, but that's what it looks like on that piece. So you got 3 pieces of metal sandwiched together, and I really chewed that one up trying to get it out. And then when I found out, I mean, once I did this side, that other side I did a better job as far as chewing up that metal. Here I'm probably just gonna screw it down and then try to shape this metal, because if you push it in, of course I don't know if you can see, if you push this in, this roof will go suck in and out. So then you might have to create a gap when you push it all the way in. You may create a gap up here, but I tried to straighten this metal out as much as I could. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw it down to that flange in there, and as that metal pushes in, I'm going to try to push it back out, hammer and dolly all the way around until this gets to where it's supposed to be touching that flange, and then spot weld it to there. So that's the plan on that. And I kind of maybe figured out what's keeping this quarter panel from going in more. Is I'm thinking it's the wheelhouse, because when I got in here and looked through this hole, it's real dark in there, but anyway, this quarter panel, let's see here, right in this area, of course we've got our quarter panel brace here that's up here on top, but right in here there's hardly no gap. I mean, this quarter panel is basically touching that wheelhouse when you push it in. So there's a little space, but not very much, not like the other side. And that's what I'm thinking, it's the wheelhouse. But like I said, I did have trouble with that wheelhouse fitting. I don't know if that wheelhouse there is wider than the other one. I thought I measured it compared to the other one. I know it was longer, and I had to modify it to make it fit in the opening of the trunk shelf opening. But that's the only thing I can determine. But that still doesn't answer the other question, is if it wasn't hitting on the wheelhouse and it butted up all the way against here, then what it does is it'll twist. It twists back here. I mean, I showed y'all quite a bit of times, but anyway, it'll cause this panel, when it hits that, touches that gap there, it causes this panel to come in like that, twisted. So you have to basically push on it and twist it back out and get all this lined back up. So you can tell I've got that there. So once I weld it up there, then I'm going to get the porter power and push it over, and then try to get it as close as to my tail light panel, and screw it down here. And then the trunk was still not going to close. It's going to rub on that edge here and here. But then that's when I'm going to start working it back and cutting this panel and working that gap to come further. That's the only thing I can figure to do. I thought about ordering another quarter panel, but it would be like, you know, hit or miss. I mean, you gamble in with it if you get another panel and it comes out the same. And they're $400 a panel, and then shipping for probably, I think it's another $175. So you're looking at $575, $600 to get another panel. So this one's gonna stay. I'm gonna make it work, whether I have to slice it and cut it, whatever I got to do to it, I'm gonna make it work. If I cut it up too bad and it doesn't work, then I guess I'll get another one and go from there. I also thought about getting the deck lid. They sell the deck lid also, but man, that's a lot of work. I'd have to, well, I mean, we've done quite a lot of work here already, but I'd have to pull the hinges, the hinge box and everything, and put it on the new deck lid. And I don't really think that would solve anything, really. I mean, it would just be another part. There's nothing wrong with this deck lid, other than it got pretty beat up here in this end when I was trying to get this panel. But I mean, it's not rusted. It's clean up here. Got a mess here where I've been working. All around the windshield, back glass channel is clean. It's not rusted anywhere or rusted through. I got surface rust in this area here, but I mean, I can DA that out and maybe do a little rust treatment or something there, up in there. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It ain't, and I really hate to take it out and just replace it just because of this issue here. So I'm just gonna go with this panel and try to make it work and cut it up and see what I have to do to get it to fit. But it is fitting a lot better. It's come a long way compared to what it was before when I first tried it on and took it off and tried it on again and everything else. I did get this repair made here when I split this. Got that sanded, or put some fiberglass here. I haven't finished sanding that, but I need to go over it with some 80 and have this repair. This repair will be done. So that's where I'm at on that, and hadn't really been doing much other than trying to figure out that deck panel to quarter panel gap. And as you can see, this one here, when you push it up against that up there, you know, I still got to clamp it. It's pretty close as it is already. And this panel here mounts really good to the tail light. I don't have to twist it or anything. But for some reason, that other panel, I don't know, there's something wrong with it where it's twisted or something. I don't know. When I sit here and look at it, I can even tell, like, it seems like it comes in or something. I don't, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna try to straighten it out and spot weld it, because I'm not gonna remove that wheelhouse. It's already welded on there. You know, maybe I made a mistake by welding it. At first I did have it screwed down, and I had tried the panel on and it seemed like it fit, so I went ahead and welded my wheelhouse. I don't think the whole trunk shelf, I don't think it needs to shift that way, because then my mounting holes on my frame would be off. And besides, this one here fits, and that panel fits really good. And when I get inside in there and look, I still have a pretty good, not very much of a gap, but maybe half, or less than a half, maybe a quarter, somewhere in there. This one down here is probably less than a quarter, an eighth or so, but it's closed over there just about, and over here it's not. So that's where I'm at on that. And this one here will go, I'm sure it'll go a lot easier in. I will have to modify this one also, because it's going to rub on there, and this one fits better up in here. Like I said, I didn't bend this metal too bad up here on this spot. Did cut a lot of the metal out. When the spot wheels were so, some of them were close together, and then some looked like a spot wheel, so when I drill one spot, it wouldn't still separate. But anyway, this is the other side of the trim, and it fits about the same way. You put it here, you still may have to go up just a little bit more, like up here, to raise that up. So if I raise that, push up in it inside before I weld it, I'm going to have to raise it up, because it's a little low there. And there again, it barely covers that area You have to raise it up about right in there. So let's see, where's it gonna go? I think it's gonna go about right in there. That was a hole there that was there, so I kind of welded it. So that also bugs me there. As you see, this is where this trim was before, because that's where the paint is. Well, look at the difference if I was to raise that trim up that high. But yeah, that's where that fits right there, but it's low. This is the line that goes across there, and here's the paint line where this trim is covered to there. So that bothers me there. I don't know what could have happened. I mean, this didn't raise up. If anything, it would have come down. So that's where I'm at. I mean, these little small issues I think I can work with, solve. The main thing was getting that one on over there. But yeah, I think this one will fit a lot better. It seems to fit. When I put it on the first time, I mean, it just popped right in there, and that other one's just been pain in the butt. So that's where I'm at, guys, and when I get all this further along, a little bit closer to where it looks kind of finished, I'll make an update of this quarter panel. I know y'all are probably tired of seeing this quarter panel video so many times, but you know, everybody's been really good about giving me suggestions to what to do and try out and see what's happening and this and that, and I appreciate everybody for helping me out on it. And that's, I mean, I really appreciate it. Everybody's gave some good input, and again, thanks everybody for the subscribing and watching. Here soon I'm going to try to come up with something to give away for maybe the 200. When I get 200 subscribers, I'm getting pretty close. It's like 175 or something like that last time I looked. I gotta find something to give away. I'd like to do that, and I'm working on a design for stickers, so I'm gonna try to do that soon and get some stickers going, so I can repay everybody back who sent me one and trade with other members of the YouTube Garage Gang. But yeah, that's the only thing I can figure on this quarter panel is that wheelhouse is messed up somewhere. But I mean, it's in there already, so I'm gonna have to work with what I got. So hopefully it won't mess it up too bad on the finish out of the car and everything. This floor pan was a full floor pan except for the rear pan, and this one's already in. I just got to get this finished up with I was putting fiberglass over my wells, and I was just gonna sand them down, and then sand. These panels come with what they call well through primer. That's why they're kind of silver. I've read other forums that not to take a chance with the epoxy on top of that. You know, even if you just scuff it, it says to go ahead and sand it off. If you can, then go ahead and epoxy it. So that's what I got to do to these pans, is go ahead and take off. Even though it's just a floor pan, it's never going to be seen. But you know, I want to do it the best that I can. And this floor pan was tricky when I put it in. As you can tell, I do have the car on the rotisserie, but when I put the pan in, I couldn't get it from underneath because the way the rotisserie is, and then I didn't want to turn the car on the rotisserie because I had taken the quarter panels off and so on, so I didn't want to take any chance of it moving on me. and I could have braced it in here, but I did, and the only thing I had braced was my doors. I had some braces going across. But anyway, the way I got it in there, it's weird because there's your tunnel part for the transmission. What we did is we flipped this panel around. I'll turn the camera and everything, but anyway, the tunnel was back here towards the garage door, and I stuck it in through the window. Stuck it in through the window in here, and once it was inside the car, we had to turn it back around this way so the transmission would be up there. Don't ask me why, but that's the only way it would go in, because if I did that transmission with the transmission tunnel, if I put it in this way, it would not go in. We tried to go in this at an angle this way, it would not go in. So we completely turned the panel around, the floor pan, and slid it in, and once it was in, then we rotated it inside the car and put it in. And me and my wife and my son did that by ourselves. So it was a chore. I mean, I didn't ever think I was going to get it in. I was just thinking how I was going to put it in. First I was going to try to go in underneath the car and then back up, but that didn't work out. But anyway, it's in. So that's just a little story on the floor pan. Starting to ramble, but anyway, I thought I'd give you guys a heads up on how I did that, in case anybody else. Another way to do it, I guess, would have been from the back end, but I had already no, the trunk shelf was in, but it was the old one, so I hadn't removed that. Another way is from the back, but the way this rotisserie I have it, I couldn't get it underneath the car and back underneath. And like I said, I didn't want to flip it on the rotisserie yet because I didn't want to take any chance of it moving or anything. The only way was put bracing and then do it that way. But yeah, it's in, and so that's about it for today. I'm just gonna try to see what I can do, little things here and there back here on it, and on the weekend coming up, I'm gonna try to get that situated out on that side, and hopefully get it to where it's gonna fit here. And so maybe on the weekend or Sunday, I'll give y'all another date. Today is Thursday, February 19th. It's about 7 in the evening, so I'm just not gonna be out here too long, maybe another hour or so, and then go inside. So anyway, that's where I'm at. So again, guys, thanks for all the watching, and for everybody who subscribed. And like I said, I got to figure out something I can give away on the 200 subscription. I got to find something. I don't know what, but maybe I'll come up with something. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Hey guys, I forgot to mention something. Dave's cage, stroke firebirdable, your magnet came in handy. I put it there to line up to bring up the two panels even, and it helped out a lot because it's a strong magnet, and when I put it there, it brought these two panels up. When I was lining them up here, I was having trouble getting these even, and I have these other magnets, but they were a little bit weak. But I just want to say thanks to Stroke Firebirdable, Dave's Cage. Thanks for this magnet again, because it came in handy. I used it there, and